Coming up next, we talked to those affected by Hurricane Matthew. Hear what they had to say and how they're dealing with the damages.
Plus, after Penn State kicker Joey Julius spoke out about his mental health, others feel inspired to share their story and get help. More details about this story coming up. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Rainey Johnson.
And I'm Madeline Maggs. Hurricane Matthew is gone, but it's left behind serious flooding and damage from the Carolinas to Florida and beyond. Our weather anchor, Casey Laheka, is here with an update on where Matthew went. Casey.
Hurricane Matthew caused devastation to parts of Haiti as it tracked up the coast and into Cuba. 60,000 are still displaced across Haiti, and as it moved up the coast into Florida and parts of Georgia, brought flooding rainfall through the area, finally made landfall in South Carolina and North Carolina. And as we look at the rainfall across the area, we see that it moved up the coast, not making landfall until here. 21 have been pronounced dead across the United States, and 10% are still without power. It has moved off the coast and it will not be affecting us anymore, but devastation has still remained.
Thanks, Casey. The effects of the hurricane will go on for months. In Haiti, nearly 400 people died, and the UN is appealing for help. In the U.S., there are still hundreds of thousands without power in the southeast. Some schools are closed this week, and river flooding is still happening. People in our area with relatives and friends in the South are staying updated on what's happening there.
Hurricane Matthew ripped through the Caribbean and then moved along the U.S. East Coast over the weekend, brushing Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and up to North Carolina. Days later, people are cleaning up and dealing with the damage, power outages, river flooding, and more. We talked with people in Center County who have family and friends in the Carolinas and Florida. Sarah Price is a Penn State student who's from Greenville, South Carolina.
Always get, when things like this happen, we get crazy rainstorms and wind. I know my mom called and she said it didn't hit quite as hard as they expected, but she was still getting a lot of bad weather.
While Sarah's family was lucky, some of her friends did have to evacuate.
I do have a friend down in College Charleston, and they expected a lot of damage, and so she got evacuated.
Matthew has killed more than 20 people in the U.S., but it's much worse in the Caribbean island of Haiti, where nearly 400 died. We spoke to a Florida resident who has now returned to his home in Jacksonville after evacuating 30 miles inland.
Ended up leaving Thursday morning. The winds were ripping pretty hard at that point, about 50 miles an hour or so at the beach, and it's kind of like a war zone. I mean, places, were boarded up and ready for the hell.
Zawilla said the damage wasn't so bad, but lost about half of their sand dunes.
First row houses on the beach, they were taking 20-foot waves. We probably had about a 7 foot storm surge, but a lot of debris, some downed trees, and yeah, that's about it.
Serious flooding is still happening in parts of the Carolinas after up to a foot of rain fell. Hundreds of thousands are still without power and will be cleaning up for months.
2 North Carolina colleges are closed this week because of the storm, and many roads are still closed, including several parts of Interstate 95.
With the election 4 weeks away, Penn State is set to host a congressional candidate debate this weekend. U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson and challenger Kara Strano Taylor will debate Saturday at the WPSU TV studios at Innovation Park. Thompson is the Republican incumbent who represents Pennsylvania's 5th congressional district. Both are running against each other for the second straight time.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump returned to Pennsylvania yesterday, campaigning one day after the second presidential debate. Trump held a rally at Ambridge Senior High School about 20 minutes from Pittsburgh. His major focus was on jobs and promised to bring a strong steel industry back to Pennsylvania. Trump also talked about improving the nation's trade deals and cracking down on illegal immigration. Pittsburgh will also host President Obama on Thursday. He'll be at a conference on the future of innovation and will deliver a speech at Carnegie Mellon University. And one other note. Today is the last day to register to vote in the November 8th election. You can register online or in person at the election office.
Penn State students, alumni, and fans showed their support to football kicker Joey Julius after he publicly acknowledged his fight against an eating disorder recently. Reporter John McHugh says Julius and medical experts are hoping his decision to speak out will help many others.
Penn State kicker Joey Julius recently announced on Facebook about his ongoing mental health battle. His struggles caused him to take off time during the spring and summer 2016 football season. After suffering enough from a binge eating disorder that has been going on for 10 years, as well as depression and anxiety, Julius was admitted into McCallum Place Treatment Center to seek help. Julius is a face and a voice for the hundreds of silent college students who suffer from mental illness-related issues such as depression and anxiety. Senior Ramon Guzman Jr., executive director of the 2016 Senior Class Gift Campaign, says that he has experienced a time in his life where he felt like there was no hope left until he found the counseling and psychological services at Penn State.
I'm a two-time suicide attempt survival, and I went to CAPS to use their resources. I was feeling trapped and lost. I definitely felt hopeless, and it's almost one of those moments where you have to look at yourself and you have to think, how much is all this stress really worth it?
Guzman Jr. says it's very important that students reach out and seek help from anyone. The power of speaking out about mental health problems among friends can be one way of healing. CAPS is a mental health facility that's designed to help students who are battling psychological problems. James Franklin expressed how proud he was of Julius for opening up about his struggles.
And I know this is something that probably affects and helps others to see, athletes or someone in Joey's position like this to make himself vulnerable and put himself out there like that. I think a lot of people can relate to that, and a lot of people can connect with that.
Reporting in University Park, I'm John McHugh for the Center County Report.
Students suffering from mental health-related issues are encouraged to speak up and meet with specialists who can provide them with resources to help.
And a university in Pennsylvania plans to offer students a class on marijuana. The course at Temple next spring will analyze marijuana policy and its history of prohibition. Temple will offer the class to communications students who might deal with the issue in their jobs as journalists and public relations specialists. It's expected to have a large enrollment.
You've seen the pink everywhere. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and on Sunday, friends, families, and cancer survivors came together in Altoona to support those fighting the disease. One woman shared her journey with everyone to help bring hope.
Pamela Burkett walked with her daughter and granddaughter Sunday after defeating breast cancer not once, but twice.
I was diagnosed in October of 2006, had a lumpectomy and radiation, and then in October of 2012 I was diagnosed with breast cancer in the same breast.
Burkett is happy to say she's a 10-year, two-time survivor, but the date of this Making Strides walk played a significant part in her becoming the event's ambassador.
Joined the Making Strides committee, and they were talking about needing an ambassador. And when I heard the date was October 9th, that was the date that my mom had actually passed away.
After her mom died, Burkett turned to yoga to help her cope with the devastation. But it also helped her battle breast cancer both mentally and physically.
I literally could not raise my arm. So I went through a lot of physical therapy, but also a lot of yoga.
October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is why organizations are working extra hard to support the cause. Penn Cambria High School has a group specifically for breast cancer awareness that attended the walk. Since the organization began in 2003, it's raised more than $100,000.
Their mission is to promote awareness of the importance of early detection.
And they support the fighters with gas money to get to their appointments and send cards throughout their battles.
About 1 in 8 American women will develop invasive breast cancer during their lifetime. That's why experts say early detection is so important.
The NAACP held a sit-in protest at a Penn State sports event last week. But is their message getting out? More on that coming up.
And fall is finally here. Find out what people in Center County are doing to get into the festival fall season now that the temperatures are cooling down.